Welcome to day 286 of TFIF 365. I know it's been a while, y'all, but I'm so happy I gave myself permission to renegotiate my agreement to create a video every day to model what supremacy-free, coercion-free, discrimination-free, and exploitation-free looks like, because taking that time off was what I needed to get to this moment. And this is my declaration. I will be spending the next 10 years, because I entered tech. I've been telling y'all 2014 was when my life turned up completely upside down. I was going in, I started my doctoral program, found out my dad was dying of cancer, had to take care of my dad and until he died of cancer in August of that year. After that, and again, I tell you that I had this very immature, naive understanding of my connection with my dad, that even from childhood, I had this thought that when my dad died, I would die. And when I didn't die, I had some decisions to make, because I was very unhappy as an educator, and I wanted something completely different. I wanted to realizing that I wasn't gonna die meant that I lived through what I thought would kill me, and I had some decisions to make. After living through what you think would kill you, you make some very bold choices. So I completely left education and decided, and I was away right after the funeral. I went away to Maui. That's where I used to go before I started going to Mexico, because being by water is what heals me. And so I went there after all the preliminaries of the funeral and taking care of shit had happened. It was in September of 2014, because I remember that because it was after Labor Day. Students had gone back, so it was much cheaper to be in Maui at that time. And I went for a week, and all I did was cry. I just cried. And then I sent back a group text message to the folks who mattered. And I said, I'm leaving education and I'm going into tech. And I put tech in quotes. And when I figured that out, I'll let y'all know. That's all I knew. I didn't know anything. I just knew that my father had left me, thankfully, a legacy that I could take this step out. It gave me time affluence to figure out my next move. And so I remember coming back from Maui, and I think actually when I was still in Maui, I started looking up tech events or tech things in the area that I lived in Atlanta. And I came across a scholarship that was being offered by a tech conference called Supernova South. And my local Women Who Code chapter, that was started by my dear friend Erica Stanley, there was an application for the scholarship, and she said I was the only person who applied, right? And coming back from Maui, making that decision of making this hard turn, being left this legacy that allowed me to comfortably explore, and then this Supernova South conference was like being in a candy store, right? Like a kid in a candy store. It introduced me to so many areas of tech I had never heard of. UX, UI, accessibility. It was just like, I was just immersed from the day that I decided to do this. And it was at a time when tech made a promise to people who look like me. That's why I got into these spaces. I mean, from 14 to 18, I traveled the world because tech at the time was prioritizing, or so they said, tech leaders at the time were prioritizing diversity, equity, and inclusion, because they saw it as a sound business strategy. The problem was when those same good white folks who were these quote unquote libertarian tech leaders, when they brought in folks like me, they quickly realized that, oh, you're part of the problem, buddy. You're a part of the problem. And everything they thought they were doing as good white folks, it turned out to be, they were mediocre, unremarkable white tech dudes, right? That were getting outshone by everybody who's had to work to be in these spaces. And what I've seen since 18 going into 19 is an erosion of that. That's why I started the Cause a Scene podcast. That's why I started the hashtag Cause a Scene movement in 18, because I was done. I was fed up. And 10 years later, this month was when I went to that first conference. I am damn determined to force tech for the next 10 years. I'm going to work on this for the next 10 years, to force tech to keep its promise to me and others who they invited into this space. Not that we should have needed an invitation. It should have been openly open to us. They promised us inclusion. They promised us equity, and they promised us innovation. And that's not what we're seeing right now. Crypto, Bitcoin, NFTs, AI, it's not innovative. And it is not designed, or they're still playing with the premise that diversity, equity, and inclusion is not necessary. It's a nice to have. It is not a fucking nice to have. It is the differentiating thing that allows you to innovate and profit in a business, period, in 2024 and beyond. And so I am here to make this proclamation, this declaration, that I am committed to spending the next 10 years forcing, if I have to, tech to live up to its promise that it told a whole society, and that oh my God, the harm that tech has caused to our societal norms, to our societal connections. We in tech must apologize and make amends for the harm that we've caused to a greater society, as well as to force and push forward more inclusion, more diversity, more equity, and definitely leads to more innovation. Because there's no way that I'm going to allow this space that was so kind to me, that allowed me to create a world for myself, a life for myself that I never could imagine, to be shut off from other people who deserve the same support. And so with that, I'll see you until tomorrow. Peace. Become a sustaining sponsor at kimcreighton.com/support-the-work and help make this work happen.